G'day and welcome to my garage.
Let's go for a walk up to the caravan. I sent my son to the caravan. Told him just to open the door, it's unlocked. And he calls out and he says, "Dad, it won't open." I said, "Oh look, just be gentle, pull a little bit harder." The door seals are just stuck to the door frame for being closed for so long. So he pulled it all right. He pulled the whole thing apart, just snapped the handle off. So I got it apart. I've pulled it off. So let's go and have a look at it on the bench. Well, sorry about this. After I came back from the caravan, got distracted with other things. The sun was still here. He's gone now, but came back to this job. This was in two pieces. He snapped it off across there, along there, and then through there, clean off. So I've super glued it back together, and what I plan to do is, that's the housing it will go into, like that, with a spring. It just floats in there actually. It sits in a pocket, pivoting off these round bosses. There's a spring that goes in here, a small spring, to keep it pushing in the closed position. I looked up on the net. Replacement handle for this is about $80 Australian. So I'm a cheapskate, I know. What I'm going to do, I've made a cardboard template here. I'm going to cut 2 aluminium pieces to go in here to strengthen that joint, one each side. Load it up with epoxy. I hope the epoxy sticks to the plastic, and we'll see what the outcome's like. What's the worst that could happen? I've got to buy a new handle for $80. Alright, let's I'll cut the 2 of these fellows out, and we'll glue it in and see what happens to my caravan door handle. Okay, that's the first side. Second side tomorrow. See you then. I've glued the little aluminium strips in there, araldite or epoxy, so the handle, and I had to rub that back a bit. So the handle's now together. Now this part here is exposed all the time, being the outside of the handle. I'll just see if I can polish that up a bit. I've already done some 1200 wet and dry on that. It's come up fairly good. I'll just try some number 2 cut and polish. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that's come up pretty good. Still a little bit dull, but actually if you get the light on it right, it's not bad. So that will do. It's ready for assembly. I'll see you when I start putting it together. If you carefully look down that hole there, let's see if I can do this. Down this hole, if you carefully look down that hole, there appears to be a 2 dimples with a slot in between inside the hole. Well, that's to engage the bottom of a small spring. That's to engage the bottom of a small spring. The reason I'm mentioning this is I was originally going to cast this handle assembly. I was originally going to cast it out of aluminium and then, you know, make the shape. Everything was fine, everything was good. And then I noticed, well, actually I thought, what holds the other end of the spring? Because the spring itself, I've got to move the torch and see if I can keep this. No, it won't sit there. In here there's a circular spring that engages in the bottom of that hole, and then it comes out and sits up against the housing that this lever slides into, and that's to return that lever back to the closed, bring it down into the closed position and to stop it from rattling around. So like I said, I was planning on casting this out of aluminium. Would have been a nice little exercise actually, and then a bit of work on the milling machine and a fair bit of hand filing. It would have worked out, but that piece, that thing in the bottom of that hole, is the cause of why I araldite the handle back up again, because I couldn't work out a way to be able to get that engagement pawl, anyhow, that little bit of protrusion down the bottom there. That's down a hole, down inside a hole, and the hole is 5 or 6 millimeters diameter and about 10 millimeters deep. Yeah, that was the thing that stopped me from casting this out of aluminium. Anyhow, back to assembly. I'll catch you then. It's hard to get it's hard to video something this small, but that's the spring inside the Caravan door lock handle, As you can see, there's a tail running up from the top, and then the other end of the spring, you can see that there's a tang. Yep, lost it somewhere. You can see the tang in the middle of the tube there. Well, that tang has to engage those two bumps in the bottom of that hole. Quick paint job on the sides. Bit of Sharpie, yep, bit of Sharpie action going on here. I've already done this side. There we go. Good as new. Let's start putting it together. Yep. The spring has got to engage in here. Oh, well, I've got to work out which way the spring sits in there. Leave it with me for a moment. I've forgotten, I thought it was the other way. Well, I think this is the way the spring is fitted. So, put it in the hole, bring it around until it engages, and then roll it over to the top. That gets fed in there like that, and then this fellow gets fed in like so. And it's got a latch, plastic latch just there to hold it all in. There we go. Ready to be fitted back in the door. Okay, let's see if we can get this K-Mac 3-point door lock system back together. So that's the piece I repaired. That's the lever. Now there's a drive pinion here and a tooth rack on here. There's also an aluminium or not aluminium, what is that stuff? Zanac, die cast aluminium of sorts. That engages with this plate somehow. Just nip it up, don't get too excited. Fit the bottom one. Just nip it up and then back it off a little bit. And then there's a third one hiding behind the lock, this internal manual lock. Now to tighten all three up. Tighten them up. Don't strong arm them. Only plastic. They won't rattle loose. That's locked. That's locked. And the handle pops out, it's unlocked. That's working. That's working. Yeah, he reefed it. Young fella, he's 30 something. Don't forget to clean up after yourself. And we're back in business. One Jayco Caravan K-Mac door lock reinstalled, repaired and reinstalled. So that's it there. That's it. That's locked.